Hello, I am Cooper Barham with Geeks Under Grace. I am one of their writers. It's my week for Ask GUG, in which you guys ask me multiple questions, of which I will try to piece together some answers for your satisfaction. First, starting with a little bit about myself, I've been writing with GUG from the very beginning, so coming on 9 months right now. And I do a lot of writing, I do a lot of reading, I play a lot of video games, I draw a lot, work out, run, I dabble in some video game development, of which there's a question on here about, so I'll get more to that later. And I work at a hospital for aggressive and impulsive youth. I work in a RTC. So let's get started. What inspires you to write for Geeks Under Grace? Well, I write for Geeks Under Grace for numerous reasons, some more selfish than others. I mostly enjoy a lot of the media that I consume, and I feel like sharing that with others, and that is one of my driving reasons for writing so many articles, especially in my early months. I wrote 11 on my second month. And I pretty much just write all of these to prompt other people to either check it out or revisit it if it's something that they've already experienced, watched, read, whatever. I mostly do video games and books, which are my two favorite, but I've also tried my hand at anime and a little bit of music and some Christian living as well. I always wanted to be a part of something that started from the ground up, and this was kind of the perfect synergy of that, because it's God and the whole of geekdom, which working together is something that is perfect for me. It's perfect for helping me grow, perfect for catching my interest, perfect for making me want it to succeed and striving for that. I like Geeks Under Grace because it stretches my limits, it forces me to grow, it enhances my abilities as a writer, enhances my abilities as a critic of things that I consume, and it generally increases my sense of understanding of the things that I read and watch and how I could convey that in an article. The community is great. I interact with a lot of the people who follow us. The people I work with are just out of this world. I interact with them on a daily basis, and they're pretty awesome. If you haven't met them, check them out, because they're pretty cool people. And to be honest, it's a very good opportunity in the future, like looking ahead. It's very good for getting my foot in the door in other areas as well, such as authorship and the video game industry, both of which I have potential interest in pursuing further. So it's kind of an open window for those as well, should I continue to invest, which I expect to be with Geeks Under Grace for some time. Question number 2. Why did you decide to go into psychology/behavioral health? Like I said before, I work at a place called Boys Town National Research Hospital. I'm a behavioral health technician, which basically means that I'm a glorified babysitter to very aggressive, impulsive, and disrespectful children who have some social issues. They usually struggle with things like drug addiction, violence, things like that, and it's my job to mentor them, to help them out, to teach them to analyze social cues, teach them proper ways to deal with stress, a whole assortment of things. I went into psychology originally because it was one of the only subjects throughout high school and college that caught my interest, and that encouraged me to actually study on my own without actually having to attend a class to learn. The material is interesting enough that I didn't have to force myself to do it, and it can be applied in so many different directions of life, here, now, in the future, with family, with friends, with the kids I work with, in so many different ways, that it's something that I saw had a universal importance and impact on my education, and I thought that it would help me a lot. Plus, you don't really have to go into behavioral health with a psychology degree, so I had multiple avenues open up for me. Question number 3, what kind of stories do you like? If you could have written one book or an idea that's already been done, which would it be? What's your dream as a writer? Well, I enjoy stories with depth. I do not read for quick indulgence. I read to learn, to see through another pair of eyes, to feel somebody else's heart. I read to imagine innovative magics and timeless realms, all of that purpley, prosy stuff. So I read a lot of fantasy. I read science fiction and bits and pieces of literary fiction as well. If I could have written one book, it would probably be The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, part of his Kingkiller Chronicle. But the question didn't ask specifically for a book. It did, but it also said just an idea that has already been done. And if that's the case, that would change the answer, because if I could have created any idea for a story, it would have been Fullmetal Alchemist, either the manga or the second anime, Brotherhood. Okay, question 4. Favorite lesser well-known superhero? Probably gonna have to go with Static Shock. If you're not familiar with Static Shock, that's okay. I barely know him either. I mostly just am familiar with the character because of the cartoon that took place quite some time ago now. I always thought Static was cool because of that, and he had very neat powers, very chill personality with a lot of backstory to him, a lot of family issues, a lot of reasons to do what he does. Something I should probably check out again. And if I can't go with that, then I'd probably have to go with most of the characters from the Teen Titans. Question number 5. Favorite video game development studio and why? Nope, this is not the publisher. I'm glad that they added that because I frequently make the mistake of calling Nintendo the development studio, mostly in reference to recent things they've made, such as Xenoblade and the new Pokemons and Super Smash Bros. But no, my favorite video game devs would be, even though they've been treading a thin line as of the last several years, it's probably Square Enix. Square has kind of gone down the tubes a little bit. They're starting to pick up some speed again. They were beginning to bury themselves the last couple of years, what with their persistence on adding to the 13 trilogy, which a minority wanted more of, and the majority thought that the company should have moved on, and all of their mobile games and their failed Final Fantasy XIV, which they then remade and was actually relatively successful. So I'm going to have to go with Square Enix for my favorite on this one. Here's hoping that they make good progress from here forward. Next question. Favorite band, artist, religious, and not? Well, my favorite religious band, or Christian band, is going to be the classic Crime. They're sort of a soft rock band. They have their style deviates a little bit between each album, so it's hard to peg them as any one thing, but that's probably what I'd go with. And as for favorite band who is not a Christian, I'd go with A Day to Remember. What is your favorite novel? Who is your favorite character you have created? Going back to the aforementioned The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, that would be my favorite book, at least as of right now, though it kind of fluctuates with another one. My favorite author, though, is not Rothfuss. It is Brandon Sanderson, who, if you're not familiar with him, I recommend you check him out because he has a great number of fantasy books that are all very different, all very creative. His magic systems are mind-boggling. So check out Brandon Sanderson. But my favorite series of books would be the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. He's the same author who wrote the Night Angel trilogy. As for my favorite character that I've created for my own stories, it'd have to be the protagonist of my most recent novel, which is Puppet. Her name is Puppet. The book is called Doubting Puppet. I've recently started outlining the sequel to that, tentatively titled Dolls in the Dead House, and I have high hopes for that. I'm really excited for it. So, next question. Which Naruto character are you most like? While there are a lot of characters with the running theme of hard work and perseverance and kind of overcoming your obstacles and things like that, I'd have to go with Rock Lee, most likely, because I had to grow up through being socially awkward and strange and not really having many innate, natural-born skills and having to work for most of the things that I can do now, whether it's a hobby or whether it's something related to education. I had to work for pretty much all of it in one way or another. Next question. What is your favorite story premise that you have created? My favorite premise would be for Iscariot, the short story that I wrote for Geeks Under Grace a little over a month ago. The concept of there being a virus that manipulates the body based on your capital sins, I feel has a lot of diverse and interesting uses if applied correctly in a larger scope story. Next question. What's the best way to balance game dev as a hobby with a regular job, family, etc., and what have you worked on? Firstly, I have a lot of hobbies, and game dev is not one of the prominent ones. especially as of the last like 4, 5, 6 months. Unfortunately, I can probably consider myself a jack of all trades. While it's cool that I'm able to do all these different things, I'm not really great at any of them. For a while, I'd focused mostly on drawing and writing, but I'm starting to pick up on more things now that I have more time out after getting out of college. But even then, music is still fallen by the wayside a bit. I do want to pick up my guitar sometime in the next few weeks. Everything else occupies my time in pretty much equal amounts, except for writing, which is by far, in a way, the most dominant of my practiced skills. Probably my favorite of all of my hobbies. But I don't really have any major family commitments, so I'm able to invest more of my time into each of these things. Well, thank you for watching. If you have any questions for me, any comments, concerns, anything like that, if you want me to elaborate any further on the stuff that I've talked about during this video, just hit me up, send me a message, comment on one of my articles. Doesn't matter, I'll see it. I get automatically notified of these things. And other than that, we're done. So thank you for watching. God bless, make a friend, and don't forget to smile.